Hello everybody, welcome to another Rick's Picks. Today I'm going to be doing my review of Boom, the Star Wars Vintage Series Landspeeder by Hasbro. So far I've been on and off about some of these vintage vehicles. Some I really like, some I think are okay, some I think aren't really worth the money that you pay for it. So we're going to take a good look at this one and see what it's about. Now the first thing I want to do is ask you guys to check out my membership program. For $2 a month, you get a lot of really cool stuff like blooper reels, uh, behind the scenes, and so much more. So without any further ado, roll that intro. All right, so here it is in packaging. Now they tried to go with the old school Star Wars look from the original toy line. So it tells you that you have Luke Skywalker that comes with it, choking hazards, your age restriction. It has the original style artwork for the packaging. It even says Kenner under here, a bunch of legal under there. Come around to this side here. Star Wars, it shows the cockpit of the Landspeeder. Come around to this side. They try to put a more modern spin on it. So this is where they encounter the stormtroopers. You know, tension here. I guess that's see, small pieces and what have you. Over here, it also, lets you know that Luke Skywalker comes with it. This side actually has the Vintage Collection logo on it. And your legal underneath. Come to this side here. You get a view under the hood and your Star Wars logo. All right, you come around to the top. You have Star Wars, a picture of the Landspeeder and Luke, plus a picture of Luke Skywalker with all his desert gear on. And then underneath you have, once again, the Landspeeder, Luke Skywalker, all his accessories, and your legal and SKU. So, with all that being said, let's open it up and see what it's about. All right, so here's Luke on his card back. So you basically have the old school style of the original Star Wars card backs. So you have your age restriction here, Star Wars. They even put Kenner down in the corner. Your choking hazards. You have your clamshell here with the figure, all his accessories. Come around to this side here. All right, you have basically a picture of the figure again, with the card back behind him, a little bit about him, and your legal. So, all that being said, let's open him up and see what he's about. Okay, so here he is out of packaging. The first thing we're going to do is go through his points of articulation. All right, so his head does move. You get a shoulder joint, elbow joint, and you do have a wrist joint. All right, get these arms up. You also have a hot joint here at the hips. Got a thigh joint with a swivel. All right. Got a knee joint. Oh, man, that's tight, but it does work. All right. And an ankle joint. Looks like he also has a swivel here as well. So everything seems to work pretty well on this figure. I don't have any issues with them. Fortunately, I don't have a stand for him, so if he falls over a couple times, I do apologize. I usually don't do a lot of these smaller figures. All right, so let's see how well the rotation works with him. So first, let's look at his head sculpt. Head sculpt looks pretty good. I do like the overall look to that. All right, and back around to this way. All right, and then as you look down his body, you get your standard, Tatooine Luke Skywalker look to him. So you got the white robes with the tan leggings and boots. But they give him this little cloth piece here. And I don't know, it doesn't seem to fit right with me. It doesn't match up with his upper body robes. So his cloth is supposed to be a continuation of his robes, and to me it just doesn't fit. It just looks different, like his robes go down into his belt, and then he's wearing like a kilt or something. So I'm not too big of a fan on that. Come around to this side. All right, around to the back. And there he goes. He has to fall at least once. All right. Matter of fact, let's put this arm down. And back around to this side so you can see the arm. And back to the front. Now, he does come with a bunch of accessories. So he does come with a rifle. All right. A lightsaber. All right. Comes with his desert hat. Whoops. There it is. He comes with his binoculars. All right. He comes with his lightsaber without the beam on. And then last but not least, he comes with this here, which might actually be a piece for the actual Landspeeder. And then last but not least, he also comes with his robes. Now let's see how well all this stuff works with them. So first off, let's try the iconic lightsaber. All right. That fits in his hand really nice. No issues with that. All right. Next is the rifle. All right. Let's try to get a two-handed hold with this thing. All right. So the rifle fits nicely in his hand. No issues with that. All right. Next is his goggles. Let's see how well these fit in his hands. Oh, come. There we go. Get that other hand on there. Goggles are giving me some resistance. Come on, Luke. Feel the force, man. Use these stupid things. All right. All right, so the one hand's giving me a little bit of a problem. I think I just got to open it up just a little bit. There it goes. All right, so you can get it to work. All right. Oops. Get him on there like that. So if you play around with it a little bit, it will work. I'll try one more time here with this. So one. The problem is he's just so small. There we go. All right, so like I said, you can get them to work. It just takes some time to play around with it. So now there is a spot for this on the belt, which is right here. Fits on very nicely, no issues. You can also put the lightsaber on here as well. And his little tool here. And this is supposed to be a recall thing for the droids. Eventually it will go on. There you go. So now, as you can see, everything fits on there. You can arrange it how you want to, but everything does fit on. This little thing probably will fit in his hand. Might just be a little bit of a bugger. There you go. So that fits in his hand as well as he falls over on us. All right, so all the All his weapons and tools work nice with them. Now, I did take this off so you can swap things around. This will go back on. Might be a little bit of a pain because it's a rubber knob, but it will go back on. All right. So now let's see how his outfit works. So there's a hole in the top of this thing that his head fits through. All right. And then this is kind of like braided down. So you got to work the arms into it. There's one arm. And there is two. All right. Now his thumb stuck. There he goes. All right. That's the desert poncho. And then he has his hat. All right. So there you go. The poncho and hat works well with them. Everything seems to fit fine with this figure. So here's the Landspeeder. It doesn't look that bad. I like the overall look to it. So let's give it the rotation. All right. So now it is, boom, very much designed off of the original toy. So there was a toy in the 80s that this is basically what it is, but with more detail. So let's spin it around this way. So you get all this nice detailing in the front of the hood. You get the ripped off cover on this side. Got some scratches and damage. And you even have the rear view mirror on here, which is really nice. I do like all that attention to detail on here. So like the other one, the hood opens up. You get to see all the workings of the engine and everything in there. So that's really nice. I like that. Now, there was some assembly to it. The only thing you had to put on was this rear engine. So, and that just clipped right on. So I didn't really get into that in the video. Matter of fact, I wonder if I could pull this off. There we go. Pulling that off so you can see in the cockpit a little bit better. So you have your steering wheel here that does move. All right, you have all your controls in there. Now you have the shifter, and this is what I was trying to say earlier, why it's a lot like the original toy. So the original toy had the same play feature to where when you push this up, spin it around, you got your wheels. So your wheels come out. So if you wanted to roll it around, you can, and what have you. All right. So that's a nice callback to the original. Now it also has a spot right here where you can connect his rifle, just like in the movie. Just like that. No issues with that. So let's see how well Luke fits in here. All right. All right. So Luke Skywalker fits very well in there. No issues. Now, the bear is to try to get the hands in there because the way how this dome comes, you can't really fit your hands in there. I mean, I'm sure if you play around with it enough, you could probably gizzy gooch the hands to get in there. It's just real hard to do. Now, as for the shifter here, so according to the packaging, it shows him holding the shifter. That thing's a little big for his hand. Like, I'm going to try to get it on there. But that is very big for its hand, unless if you maneuver it around. All right, so I can get the hand on there after playing around with it. So it is very much doable. All right. It kind of really distorts the hand. And like I said, you can, let me see if I could show it better this way, because you might not be able to see it because the glass, the arm kind of makes it too The actual steering wheel might have been better if it was just a hair longer. So if you meddle around with it, you could probably eventually get that on there. It's a shame this dome don't come off, because if the dome came off, it'd make it so much easier to get that hand on there. But it is what it is. He does fit in there. No real issues with that. And if you had C-3PO or somebody sitting in the back, just bend the legs and he sit in there like that. You can also put R2-D2 on here as well. Okay, so if you wanted R2-D2 to sit on there, you can. But there's nothing to fasten them onto. There's no pegs or anything. So he kind of just sits there and you hope to God he doesn't fall off. So that's all the details to this. Now, there was one thing that I forgot about the figure. I didn't notice it at first. All right, he does come with a pouch here. So if you want to put that on here somewhere, like here, you fit that extra pouch on there. All right, of course, now it doesn't want to go on. All right, so there we go. No, well, anyway, if you don't want the pouch on there, you could put, like, you know, one of his other things in there, like the goggles or the little droid control piece there. But this should fit on there, and it just doesn't want to work at this moment. All right, so let's get into my final thoughts on it. So first off, the figure, everything works very well on him. I have no issues with how his joints and stuff move. All his accessories fit very well on him, and he's a good looking figure for the scale. The only one of his accessories I had any issues with was his pouch. Trying to get that back on after it came off, but you know, I'm sure with a little bit of work it will go back on, so I'm not worried about that. As for the Landspeeder itself, it looks really nice. I love the overall detail to it. A couple minor issues, like the hands don't really want to go up to the actual steering wheel, and it feels like the shifter is just a little bit too big for the figure's hands. But other than that, overall, I like it. I think it's a great looking vehicle. So, would I recommend this? Yes, I will. I do recommend this, though I do feel like the price tag's a little steep on this. This thing comes at $50, and I don't know if this is exactly worth 50, maybe 30 or 40. But unlike the X-Wing, it actually does come with a figure, so I will give them that on this one. So, you know, that one I want to ask you guys, do you feel like after watching this review that this is actually worth $50, or do you think this should have had a smaller price tag? So let me know in the comments. So with all that being said, the first thing I want to do is give a shout out to everybody who supports this channel. First on that list is Byron Bassett and his alter ego Humongous. They're big supporters of the channel, and they do a lot to help out with it as well. So go ahead and check out his YouTube channel and his show that he does every Sunday. All his information is in the description. The same with Action Figure Geeks. They're a Reddit channel that I'm part of who also supports this channel. So go ahead and check out their information in the description. And check out my Star Wars playlist also, and my membership program. Plus hit that like, share, and subscribe. They're all small clicks for you, but it really helps this channel grow. So until the next one, late.